Okay. So signs of aging that we don't see, but that happen inside the cell are really the origin or source of the physical signs we start to see or we experience and feel. Now, one of the most important things that happen inside the cell when the cell starts to age or we age in general is a loss of ATP. Now, ATP is the end product that produces the energy inside our cells, and we're going to talk about how that happens. But to form ATP, we have to have the key compound that makes ATP, and that is NAD, or nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. So NAD levels drop as we age also. With lower NAD levels, we have less ATP, and basically our genetic software and our cellular computers start to work much less efficiently. What else happens? Well, with lack of energy inside our cells, the damage to our DNA really cannot be corrected efficiently. When we're in our 20s, early 20s, our bodies have the potential to repair not just the damage that is occurring on a daily basis, but 2 or 3 times the amount of damage we normally experience. So that's why we can, when we're young or in college or in our 20s, we can go out at night, stay up late, sleep 3 or 4 hours and still feel like we can function. But that is not something that lasts into our 30s and 40s. And from then on, it's really a difficult task. It's simply because we can't repair the damage to our genetic software, our DNA, because of lack of energy. Involves in aging, the genes that cause us to feel more inflammation, joint pain, that cause us to have elevated cholesterol, that cause us to lose body muscle mass and gain body fat, those genes get dysregulated with the aging process and are also directly related to the amount of energy that can be given to help maintain a more ideal function. Our cells cannot relate to each other because our cells talk to each other. Cells next to each other create proteins or compounds, what we call growth factors, that communicate amongst each other, that help regulate groups of cells. And if those cells cannot communicate efficiently, the group of cells don't work ideal. Proteins are very, very important. Now, proteins form the basis of our immune system. Proteins form the basic structures of our hormones, which help keep us healthy and functional. So what happens if we have damage to our genetic software, the proteins that are necessary as the building blocks for immune globulins, immune function, for hormones, can't be produced as quickly or as ideally structurally as they should be, so we don't stay healthy. So all of these things are happening inside each one of not just our body cells, but our stem cells. Okay. So cellular copies, as we talked about initially in all of my initial lectures on AM, PM, we have 2 groups of cells. We have our body cells and we have our stem cells. Now, as our body cells make copies of themselves and get worn out, they have to be replaced. So our stem cells literally go to that area, replace that damaged or worn out body cell, and we have a new cell. Now, what happens is those cells have to divide. The stem cell has to divide into a new muscle cell or skin cell or liver cell. If that stem cell, or if the cells that it divides into have the DNA, those cells don't function more ideally or optimally. And what happens over a number of copies of that cells, the genetic software, the genetic information is misread, and the cell doesn't function ideally, and we start to lose function. And if it's the liver, or we start to see wrinkles in our skin, or we start not to think or remember things if it has to do with brain tissue. So cellular copies, keeping them, the DNA, the genetic software, healthy and repaired and not letting the damage build up, is essential. So in order for that to happen, there's an enzyme called PARP, P-A-R-P, that is directly related to DNA repair inside each one of our cells. If that enzyme PARP doesn't have enough ATP to keep it active, we cannot repair the damage inside our cells at the level of our DNA. The other thing that happens is there are two major groups of genes that we now know of that are directly linked to increased health span or greater quality of health as we age. And those are called, they're sirtuin genes. And there's really two categories of those. Again, without the right amount of ATP or energy inside the cell, those longevity producing genes decrease their activity and we start to experience a less ideal state of health. All right. Now, lifestyle, we talked about that in the beginning of this discussion. Now, lifestyle has a tremendous amount to do with how much energy our body produces, okay, inside our cells. If we eat healthy and we exercise particularly, which is a big help to making ATP, if we decrease our stress, which helps produce more ATP, all of these things, amongst others, can help maintain an ideal healthy level of NAD, which turns into ATP. Now, here's the real secret. The more energy we produce in the form of ATP and NAD, the more active those enzymes are for DNA repair, and the sirtuin enzymes for enhanced time for healthy life. And this is one of the most important things to keep in mind. Now, we produce natural amounts of NAD inside every one of our cells, but as we age, that energy level just decreases dramatically. So what else can we do to help enhance, not only maintain, but actually boost that amount of energy, which is so essential for each one of the 100 trillion cells in our body? Let's talk about that. Okay. So scientific research and advances over the last couple of years have actually found that the period of healthy living, which we now refer to as your health span, can be extended. And that is mainly by improving your levels of NAD, the compound that's responsible for cellular energy production. You know, although we do have small amounts of NAD, which can be found in our diet, it is not enough to boost amounts of NAD we need to maintain ideal function and actually to improve our NAD levels. If you recall, I mentioned at the beginning of this talk that really between the ages of 40 and 60, we lose 50% of the NAD and ATP produced in each one of our cells. So basically our energy levels get cut in half by the time we're 60. So if you remember how you felt when you're 20 and 30, you felt really good, and you're wondering why your 50s or 60s, you just don't have the energy to do the things you enjoy doing or to stay healthy, in fact, that's the reason why you haven't produced the energy. So let's talk a little bit more about that now. Okay. So I am super excited about introducing the Jeunesse solution, Life NMN. Now, this is the first product that works at the origin of the cell's energy source, NAD, that Jeunesse has really launched. But it is so much more than other companies' NMN products. And we're going to talk about this essential ingredient now. So what makes Life NMN heads and tails above every other product on the market is youthful complex 6. So there are 6 key ingredients that over the last couple of years I've researched and tried to create a combination of ingredients that fit the Yes system key tenets. That is, how can different ingredients work synergistically to create an outcome that is better than just one ingredient or 2 ingredients? So let's take a look at what youthful complex 6 contains and how they work in more details. So first of all, let's go over what it contains. NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, is the core hero ingredient in Life NMN. It is NMN that ultimately gets produced, that gets turned into NAD that creates more ATP. Now, many products have NMN, but I'm going to explain to you why the youthful complex 6 in Life NMN creates a whole new dimension in why Jeunesse's product Life NMN is better and why you feel the difference even so much greater than a single ingredient can do. So Life NMN contains NMN as its hero product, and its support product. There's two support products that support NMN's activity. One is PQU, or pyrroloquinoline. Now, this product has been known to help also produce more energy, but also to make the energy factories inside the cell, the mitochondria, work more efficiently. And some research even documents it actually helps produce more of these energy factories, okay? The third product that supports our hero product is pterostilbene. Pterostilbene is a stilbenoid. It is found in certain berries, but what pterostilbene does also, it helps re-regulate the genes involved in longevity, and we're going to go into that in more detail. Now, the other thing we are looking at is how can we help with energy at the level of our mind, energy, mental focus, which is essential, one of the key things we lose as we age, which directly impacts how we can recall and remember new information. Alpena Galanga is a natural herbal compound. It's a tuberous herbal compound that has been known for centuries in the East. Now, Alpena Galanga extract can basically help produce tremendously more amounts of physical energy, which you feel without the impact of the jitteriness of caffeine or any of the downsides of caffeine. So to me, that was an essential component. We want to feel more energy, but we want to also be able to mentally focus better and not feel jittery. Now, probably the most important differentiator in Youthful Complex 6 are the other two ingredients. No matter how many milligrams you have of NMN, and some products on the market, have large amounts, other products have small amounts, but the effective amount of NMN that really makes a difference depends on what arrives at the level of your cell inside your body. And that has to do with absorption. So Youthful Complex 6 has a unique absorption system comprised of two ingredients. Bioperine, which helps these key ingredients, particularly NMN, be more efficiently absorbed from the intestines and stomach. Now, once that compound is absorbed into the bloodstream, it has to get to the tiny capillaries that feed the cells. And here is where L-citrulline, which eventually gets converted into nitric oxide and dilates up or opens up those tiny vessels, help deliver the ingredients in Youthful Complex 6 more efficiently and help with bioabsorption to the microcellular level. So if you look at the technology designed into Life NMN and the 6 ingredients, I am sure you'll see no other product that has NMN, that has the technology and the science behind it to do what we're talking about right now, and that we do at Jeunesse. Okay, so let's look at the overview. What does the key ingredient in Life NMN do? Nicotinamide mononucleotide. So if we were to look inside the cell or outside the cell first, let's take a look at outside the cell. NMN floats in the fluid outside the cell between cells. It can directly enter the cell and get converted into NAD, which eventually gets converted into ATP. And all this occurs inside the little tiny cigar-shaped organ inside our cell called the mitochondria. Now, what's unique about NMN is it can be converted outside the cell into NR, which is another product many companies sell. But NR has to get converted and transported into the cell and then get converted back to NMN before it's effective in making more NAD or eventually ATP. So what we have here is, with NMN being our hero ingredient, we have direct absorption of NMN through the cell membrane into the cell and direct conversion to NAD without having to go through multiple steps. Now, the recent research, again, about NMN has shown that it's not only important to make NAD, but it has a number of other key, very essential kind of effects. So NMN has been shown to turn on those genes involved in longevity and extended health span, the sirtuin genes. NMN has also been shown to help with repairing damage to DNA. And these are all documented in animal studies and cell studies, and just now starting to be documented in human studies. So what we're looking at is this hero product, NMN, is essential not only for energy, it's essential for helping to keep our, quote, genetic software from being damaged. It's essential in helping to turn on the genes involved in DNA repair and the genes involved in longevity. So this is why everybody's jumping on the NMN bandwagon. But when we put NMN together with the other ingredients of youthful complex 6, we have another dimension, another whole impact on cellular aging. Okay, let's look at that. Now, in youthful complex 6, we talked about PQQ, pyrroloquinoline quinone. This PQQ supports mitochondrial activity to help make more ATP from NAD. And as I said, as we age, our mitochondria, our energy factories in our cells, become damaged. Our mitochondria also have their own group of DNA, which helps keep mitochondrial genes and mitochondria functioning well. So the secret here is to keep the mitochondria we have from getting their genetic software from getting damaged so that it can produce more ATP as well. And so PQQ helps with energy production, it helps with mitochondrial health, and basically helps with the overall process of NAD production. Okay. Youthful complex 6, as I mentioned, has a support ingredient called pterostilbene. And pterostilbene is very similar in structure to resveratrol, but in studies, in animal studies, in cell studies, has been shown to be much, much more absorbable than resveratrol in general. But it also impacts many of the similar genes, the sirtuin genes. It also has a very strong antioxidant potential, very similar to resveratrol. And it is found naturally in berries. But frankly, how many berries can we eat to really get what we need in the form of the amount of pterostilbene? So pterostilbene is a support product for NMN at both the genetic level and antioxidant level. The next thing we mentioned briefly was Alpena Galanga. Now, Alpena Galanga, when you take this compound, you feel more energy, but you don't feel the jitteriness seen in caffeine or tea or cocoa. Now, each one of those compounds, tea, cocoa, coffee, have a structure similar to caffeine, but each one of those compounds has slightly different functions, and they all have some jitteriness with them. Alpena Galanga is a completely different compound that not only gives you energy, but it helps with mental focus and learning. This is one of the key things that we've looked at in surveys with people saying, what is the key thing that you really fear? And that is loss of your ability to remember and function mentally ideally. So we've put this in not just for its energy component, but to help with maintaining one of the most important assets we all need is an alert mind and a good memory. Now, getting into the delivery system, which again is unique to Life NMN, is a dual delivery system. One compound that helps with delivering these key ingredients or enhancing bioavailability at the microcellular level, and one that helps the initial absorption of the compound from the intestines to the blood vessels so more gets into the microcirculatory system. L-citrulline is a well-studied, published compound that has emerging science has shown that it converts into L-arginine, which then gets converted into this compound called nitric oxide. Now, nitric oxide is a natural occurring compound our body makes that dilates up our blood vessels, lowers our blood pressure, but particularly works at the microcapillary level where the blood vessels go right to the cellular environment. So this helps dramatically with the absorption of our other 5 ingredients. Okay. Bioperine is a compound that's been used for years and decades. It is a natural extract of black pepper. It is noted to be a very effective antioxidant, but most importantly, it helps with absorption at the macro level or the intestinal level so that the initial swallowing of our Life NMN product, this product helps open up the blood vessels, so more of the bioavailability of all of these 6 ingredients gets into the bloodstream. So together with L-citrulline, Bioperine create the dual absorption system we've designed into this product at both the macro and micro levels. Okay. So when we look at Life NMN, Life NMN is a system built on the concept of synergy that the Yes system itself is based on. Products work better together than they do separately. So Life NMN has been designed to not only enhance cellular energy, which is its core effect, but to help regulate the genes involved in longevity. Those are the sirtuin genes, to help regulate the genes involved in energy production, to help restore the impact and the effectiveness of the genes involved in DNA repair, the PARP genes. An amazing product, 6 ingredients, 2 that create a special absorption system, and a hero ingredient, which NMN is without a question, and support ingredients for NMN. So this product is going to be a major new addition to the Yes system, which did have one area that we needed to focus on, and that was cellular energy. Now, AMPM has been designed to help regulate that loss of the ideal gene activity in both our stem cells and body cells, but also to regulate, for instance, two areas of our genetic software, our daily sleep-wake cycle, and the key genes involved in living a healthier, longer life, but helping to maintain stem cell and body cell function. Now, when we put these 2 products together, Life NMN creates the additional NAD that we lose as we age to even make AMPM more effective. Life NMN is going to help make even our topical Luminesce products in the Luminesce system work better. Our oral products work better. Reserve work better. Vita Blue work better, because every one of those products impact how our cells work. And as we age, the ultimate thing that happens to all of us is our loss of energy inside our cells. I believe that 2021 is going to be a major, major positive year for Jeunesse, not only in the new products that have come out, but in the products that we're looking at creating to actually document that the products at Jeunesse are working at the genetic and epigenetic level to help bring all of you a enhanced health span and quality of life and youthful function. We're also focusing on things to help with maintaining and supporting an ideal immune system, which we all know we need to do to stay healthy as well. So with that, I'll look forward to participating in the round table and kind of letting loose some new secrets about some of the new testing, some of the other new products we're actually in the process of finalizing, and I believe will bring another level of credibility and science to Jeunesse. And it's my pleasure speaking to all of you again. I look forward to seeing you again in person as soon as we can all get back to normal lifestyles. God bless and stay healthy.